Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Lili Nishmasimi Mirosi Ruspas Mordechai. Today's shir is sponsored by Yisroel Helprin. For my father's, where is he today? Do you know where he is, Yisroel? He might be in Florida, who knows? For my father's 27th Yohrtzeit on Rosh Chodesh Elul. The boy says Rosh Chodesh Elul. It's unbelievable. Elul! Zev Doiv ben, or Elchanan ben Zev Doiv. Born in Krasna Poland, died in 84. He loved learning. And to Eli, a tremendous mazel tov on the wedding and Sheva Brachot. Mrs. Fruma, Leya, Hellman, Eli Mori, Yosef, Leya ben Neftali, Gurshon Levi on his 42nd Yohrtzeit. By Leichter, in honor of Leichter and the great Hillel Kamiansky. By Yisroel Shalitsky. Here he is today. He's right here live with us in Borough Park. We're right now in Borough Park. Where's the Balabas? Where is he? Krishna, where is he? He's in the mountains? Friday was the 20th Yohrtzeit of Rav Pam, Zechron Tzadik Brachot. Moreno Rav Rom Yaakov ben Rav Meir HaKoyin Zechat Tzadik Brachot. Also was the Satmar Rebbe's Yohrtzeit on Wednesday. He's the guy that has the book. He never says Tachlan, huh? Where is he, Yisrael? How do you know all these Yohrtzeits? Oh, you just know the Yohrtzeits. Okay. Parnas HaChodesh by Michael Benmeleh in memory of his mother Devora Faige as Shmuel and father-in-law Menachem Mendel ben Elchanan, and in merit to make it to Uman Rosh this year. All right. Good. It's very Shkoyach. Oh, what happened to the emails? So because I am on the run without the printer. Who? What's his name? Reb Meir Shimon Eisenberger. The Rosh Chabura here. Shulun is he here? He's not here. And Rabbi Kushner. Shkoyach. Hakor Satoiv. So I asked that some Yungelite should send me emails. So here's the email from a younger man. I had it printed and marked off what I should read. So it's going to be tough. It's a very, very long email. And he says his name is S. Salomon. He doesn't want me to say his whole name. So Mazel Tov. And then he says he lives in Borough Park. He might be over here right now. Who knows? And he learned in Koil for 11 years. He did some stuff on the side. This is the first time he took a job, a real job as a Rebbe. And a few weeks into the summer, he found himself literally not opening up a Gemara or a Sefer for days. He was Yohrtzeit with the shir that he was giving. So now he started realizing that a working guy that learns 2 hours a day is a masmid otzum. I remember I was learning first Seder when I had my business in Chicago. So I learned the whole first Seder, and the guys in the koil there used to make fun of me. Pasha, they'd come over, and they'd say, "Hey, Shalom Aleichem, how'd you make it here?" Somebody put him on the WhatsApp. This guy, right away, he doesn't know, or his email. See, you found it. So I love learning there. The guys were Gevaldike guys, but I was a balabas, and they're koil guys, and they couldn't relate to the fact that a balabas learns a half a day. So how do you learn only half a day? What's going on there? Now, fast forward 10 years, most of the guys are working, and they don't learn a half hour. Like, no, you learn? No, I don't have time. I said, you remember you made fun of me? Yeah, I know. It's terrible that I did that. Yeah. Okay. So if you're in Koil, don't make fun of the Balabat and learning a little bit. He says, a guy that learns, a guy that works and learns for 2 hours, he's a masmid otzum. Anyways, he's wondering, he watched the interview of Meaningful People. He loved the Vard. It's not about the Daf, it's about the Yomi. And he says, if he's in Koil for 11 years and I didn't learn inside a Sefer regularly in days and weeks, what's going on here? You have to learn every single day. And then he goes on to say that he started the Daf Yomi many times. He finished 100 Daf in Shabbos, 20 Daf in Erevin, 17 Daf in Pesachim, 6 Daf in Shkolim, which is like 100 Daf in another Masechta. Fine. Weiter. And then he keeps on going. Where's the interesting parts here? Wow. Unbelievable length over here. You don't know what I'm skipping here. I think I showed the email on Friday, how long it is. Kitzer, he learned Pesach by night, 2 daf by the Seder, but that lasted until daf pay, 80 daf. Kitzer, okay. So now, back to the podcast. It's perfect timing for me to hear, more than ever, learning daily, and I love the Vard of 30 seconds in the bank. I like the Vard also. That was, who said that? That was David Zlatnik. Great Vart, that if somebody gives you, remember the Vart we just had this week, if somebody gives you 30 seconds in the bank to chop as much money as you want, are you going to say, no, I don't want it because I need a minute? You'll take the 30 seconds and you go weiter. So if a guy gives you half a Masechta, you're not going to take half a Masechta. You're going to wait until next Masechta. Doesn't make any sense. So he loved that also. And he said, if I could start in the middle of Avodah Zarah, then he could also start in the middle of Masechta Sukkah. And beautiful. So mainly he started also Daf, Chav Ches, Kitzer, and this is a younger man. Verstehst? Anyway, I feel like a different person. I learned today and yesterday. My wife told me that tonight she's so happy that I'm Daf Yomi. He's a Daf Yomi younger man, and that he's much more happy and calm since he started learning the Daf yesterday. Fine. Anyways, he really appreciates everything. Please don't say this in public. So I won't say it in public. Maybe I should. No, I won't, because it's Rosh Chodesh. P.S. You mentioned yesterday about getting an email from a koiling man, so that inspired me. S. Salomon. Should we read another one here? We're very, very late. I have no idea. I'll just pick any random one that comes up here. Boom, this one. I've never read it. Dear Rebelli Mishpacha, I would like to wish you and your family heartfelt Mazel Tov and beautiful Simcha. Although I was not able to make it in person, the live stream suggested that Sheva Brachot is more lebedik than most chasanas. It's beautiful, taka beautiful. Thanks to you and your whole family for all the sacrifice and effort you put in each day to create something as wonderful as MDY. I look forward to meeting you in person. Peretz Rappaport. Yishkoyach. Agut Voch, everybody. Agut Chodesh. So today we have a very interesting daf. Shas is full of all sorts of dafim. This is a daf of Mamish Halachas. I think this is a record. Right over here, I have 32 pictures, and this is after I took out 4. I had 36 total, and I figured 4 of them are not necessary, and I didn't even print anything myself. There's one I wanted to print myself. Fine. We'll have to imagine it. But it's basically very, very halacha oriented. It will teach us, maybe we'll come up with some halachas, lamaisa. What are we supposed to look for in a lulav? What are we supposed to look for in adasim? So we're starting from Daf Amud Aleph Amud Beis, all the way in the bottom, Niktam Roishoy. 2 lines from the bottom. Oh, no more shaking. Sorry. Niktam Roishoy. If the top of the lulav got cut off, Omer Avuna Leishonu Le Niktam. Aval Nizdak. If the top of the lulav is split, kosher. Vatanya. So we're going to go into this for a second. Vatanya lulav kofov. If you have a bent lulav, we're going to go into that. Kavots. So like little leaves come out of it, like thorns. Okum doimelamagol. It's bent like a sickle, like one of those round knives that you cut wheat with. Puzzle. But what does it say here? Charus puzzle. Time out. Did we skip it already? We're looking for nizdak. Okay. Kavots, saduk. Here we go. Saduk. What's saduk? Split. And what does it say? Puzzle. So that's a kasha on what we just said. Nizdak, we said, is kosher. Niktam, if it's cut, the top is cut off, it's puzzle. Nizdak, if it's split on the top, is kosher. And over here in the Brisa it says, kafuf, we don't have to pay too much attention to that. Kavod, not pay attention. Saduk, that's what we're looking for. Saduk. If it's split, or akum gidol, puzzle. It is puzzle, not kosher. So that's the kasha. And then we keep on going. Charus, if it's hard, we'll see in a picture soon. Puzzle. Daimel charus. Okay, you know what? Let's just see pictures right now. Oh, I need it. Who took my chair? Eli, you took my chair. I need it. Oh, I'll just put it over here. Fine. So, Nizdak looks like this. Here's the tumas. Now, we're going to be talking about tumas today, so let's get familiar with it. This is the spine of the lulav. It ends right over here. If you follow the spine all the way up to where the spine finishes, that's the tumas. That's the center leaf. And over here you see that it's split into 2. That's Nizdak. This right over here is Kafuf. What does it say about Kafuf? Puzzle. What do Hasidim call this? Knepel. So let's talk about this for a second. This right over here is not really a knepel. The Lutfaks call it knepel. Why is this not? Because this has a nice, complete turn. This looks like a fish hook. That's a no-no. If you see this in the store, don't buy this. It says puzzle. Kafuf, puzzle. Nobody argues in that. Puzzle. So what do they argue about? It's Machlokes Ran and the Rosh. If it has a little bit of a turn on the top, the Ran says it's puzzle. But the Rosh says it's great. You know why it's great? Because then it holds the tumas together. It's like glue. If you ever look in the story and there has a little bit of a bend on top, you'll see those guys are closed. What are people looking for in a lulav? That the tumas, this middle guy, the center one, shouldn't be open. That's what we're talking about right now. Nizdak, kosher, puzzle. So that's what we're looking for. That shouldn't be open. So this is taka puzzle because it's completely around. According to some, and a lot of Hasidim are makpid on a little bit of a bend because that's even better in a way. If it has kore on top of it, so Reb Nisim Karel says it's terrible because kore is not, kore is that brown stuff that covers sometimes. It's not part of the lulav, he says. Don't rely on it. It's like mamish closing like a ostrich putting his head in the sand, not knowing what's underneath it. A lot of people, whatever. But if it has a little bit of a bend, so some say it's great. There's certain chasidus that stay away from it, skver, and I think, I forgot who, they stay away from it completely. And it's very difficult really to get a lulav that the tumas, it comes to a really sharp point and that it's closed. A lot of times what happens is before you even get to the store, somebody touches it and flicks the top, breaks off a little bit of this, and it's already niktam. So that's the big problem in lulavim. To find the tumas that's completely closed. All right, so la'alach l'maisa, I didn't give you any halach l'maisa. I'm just telling you a little bit of why some people are makpid dafka knoppel. Some people stay away from it. It would seem like from the halacha, I'm not picking any sides, it would seem like if you could get a straight lulav that's completely closed, it seems like it's better than the one that has a little bit of a bend on top. The Rosh says the one on the bend, it keeps it closed, and that's why it has a maila. But according to the Ran, that might be a problem because it's kafuf. So maybe it's kedai to stay away from it. But I'm not a posik, so I have no idea. I know that there are people that are makbid dafka on that one. Who? On the kara. Covered in kara. I hear. Okay. So I didn't see Chabad. I really didn't see Allah. I just saw Reb Nisim Karel. I know there are people makbid on kara. Yeah. Fine. Agapan, we're in the middle of a question here. Charus pasal devil charus kosher. So kavutz looks like this. It has like thorns coming out of it. We have to go through 32 of these pictures. This is charus. We're all familiar with this. Some people use it as chach. Basically, this is a lulav that's already older, 2-3 years old. It opened up. There's no way, as we're going to see soon, there's no way to close it tight. And there's even a picture of somebody trying to close it tight. What it looks like. It'll never look like a nice straight lulav. This is possible. Papa, the Ovid kehemnik. This that says that saduk is possible doesn't mean that it's split. It means that it's like a hemnik. So hold on a second. We'll see what a hemnik is in a second. But doimel charus, it's starting to open up. This is the case before. Starting to open up, kosher. Because you can grab it and tighten it down. So the Gemara says, no, we're not talking about split over here. We're talking about a real split, a hemnik, like this. Basically, it grew like a Y, 2 sides, to the right and to the left. That's why it's puzzle. But if the tumus is slightly open, that's not a problem according to this. So now we're going back. If it's bent like a sickle, so this is not the picture that I want to show you, but we can use this as a picture. This is what a sickle looks like. It's round. So lefanov, if it bends away from you this way, because you have the spine of the lulav facing you, and if it goes that way, that's not the way it grows, so it's possible. But if it bends, I don't know how to show, but anyways, if it bends this way, like this, then it's bad. But if it bends towards you like this, this way, then that's how it grows, and it's okay. Omer of Nachman, but this is the picture. Litzdadin, what if it goes to the right or to the left? Ve'amri lo litzdadin kilafanav dami. It's possible because it's not the way it grows. Ve'amri lo kilachiv dami. And some say that no, it's okay. This is kosher. So we have a machlokes whether or not sideways is kosher. I don't think it's a keli v'aveyu. I've never seen anybody in shul with one of those. The worst, sometimes it goes bends a little bit. We're makbid on that also. You'll see people take the lulav and take their laser and make sure it's straight. Maybe it's based on this Gemara over here. V'amarava. Hai lulava the solik bechad hutza. Ba'mumu pasal. So according to Rashi, it's a lulav that only has leaves on one side. Shot one. So it's a balmum. That's not how a lulav grows. Every lulav has leaves on both sides. Here, this is the spine. You can see the shidra very clear, and the leaves grow out of it only on one side. Possible. Nifritzu alav omer papa nifritzu the ovid kichufia. So when we learned the Mishnah, we explained it. It's based on this Gemara that nifritzu, although in Hebrew nifritzu might mean spread out, broken. Over here it means that it's literally detached from the lulav. The ovid kichufia, he made it like a broom. You take a broom, you take like straw, a bunch of pieces of straw, you tie it. That's what he did. He took a bunch of leaves of a lulav, that he ripped them off, he was going to make kosher with it, and then he didn't sell out. So he takes them back, puts it back on the spine, ties it up. No good. Nifredu, but if it's on the spine of the lulav, just each one, the leaf is two leaves really. Each leaf is two. So the two leaves separated from each other. Nifredu, the chuvia, nifredu, the ifru, the frude. That's the second case, and that's okay. Boira papa. Nechleko hat yoimes mau. So now we're talking about the tyomes. Tyomes it's a lotion of twins. Shalom aleichem about them. Twins. In other words, the center. Here's the picture. This guy right over here, nechleko. So Rashi says that it's split so much. I guess it means roi, but he says it's split open until the next leaf. So the next leaf is right over here, really. So it's not roiv, can't be roiv. So it's enough that you see these leaves. Here's 1, 2 to the next leaf. That's what he says. And this, I believe, is what everybody looks in a lulav today. That's the main thing. I mean, first you look at the shape. You see if it gives a good chuckle. Okay, I don't know how important that is, but people are very marked. They go, okay, yeah, good. It's good because the Gemara says, we're going to see in a second, it has to be kidei le'naneya, so maybe it has to make a little noise. I don't know. But the main thing is that tumus, that middle leaf, all the way on the top. Is it separated or not? Now, when you look at it, it's very tricky. When you look at it, it usually looks connected. But if you give it a little touch, you'll see that it's separated. Now, it's hard to touch it because then you're going to break the guy's lulavim. You're going to go through 40 lulavim and destroy each and every one. So you have to know what you're doing. I mean, if you look in the light, you see sometimes a separation. You don't have to touch it at all. If you give it a very gentle touch where you wouldn't break it, but if it's separated and broken already, then it pops open. No, I don't know. You have to ask the guy that works there, that owns it, if he's masking. But that is the concern. How do I know all this? I'm sure a lot of people know this, but when I was younger, my father used to send me. First, he gave me a big training lesson. Then he said, you're on your own. Sat there for hours and hours looking at thousands and thousands of lulavim. By the way, in Yisroel, I'm sure they sell them here. The dairy lulavim, they're very, very easy to find good lulavim. They're very expensive, but they're very, very good. That's just what I found. I don't know. Maybe people have other things. In Eretz Yisrael, at least. I'm sure I remember when I lived here also, they used to have dairy. No, they sell dairy here. They're super expensive, but the amount of lulavim that you find that are closed is very, very good. Anyway, Zog to Gemara. So what if the top is broken, is split like we just said? Tashma. Domar Rabbi Yochanan Levi. Nitloat yoimes posel. It says if it's missing completely, it's possible. My love, wadin nechlaka. So can you also say that if it's split, it's like broken off completely, it's possible. Lai nitla shani the chassalei. No, what's the connection? If it's missing, it's missing. So that's why it's possible, because it's missing. It's a chaser, like anything else. Esri that has a piece missing is also chaser. It's also possible. But if it's there and it's together, no, it's not the end of the world. Nechlakat yoimos naso kimi shenitlat yoimos upasol. So no, some say the Rabbi Yochanan said it's mamish pasol, like it's. You have to imagine to yourself that a split yoimos on the top, yoimos on the top, is as if it's chopped off and it's missing completely. Stam, also a good idea not to shuckle the lulav so hard, because when you shuckle it like meshuga, like this, you're going to pop that tumors open. No? You have to be sort of gentle with it. I mean, it's good to go like this. This is not new. But some people are like, forget it. If you do that, you don't have a tumors. You have great nanuim and zero tumors. Over here it says, if the tumors is split, I'm reading the Gemara here. According to Rabbi Yochanan, tumors is split, it's possible. Finished. It's probably the hardest thing to keep on Sukkahs. Once you have good adasim that are kosher, we're going to learn about adasim today, and a nice set of aravas, and a beautiful esrig, then you have to be careful with your lulav. That's the hardest thing. And then you put it back in the case, and as you put it back, you stab the case a little bit, pop goes the tumors. No more tumors. Kids, so you have to be careful. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Tanya, Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Mishum, Rabbi Tarfon, Kapis Tamarim, Kofus. So we said already, it says it, the lashon is Kof, Pei, Tov, which is the lashon of to bind, to tie together. It could be a spoon, Kapois Tamarim, but it has to be bound together. Now the Gemara is going to go into, how do we even know, yes, my father showed me what a lulav is, and his father showed him, and it went all the way back to, we have a Ksav Yuchsin, to the Machsa Shekel, to Devora Faige. So we know it went back. There was never a generation that didn't have a real lulav. We know what it is. We know that Moshe Rabbeinu brought down this lulav. But how is it muchach in the Torah? So it says in the Torah, Kapis Tamarim, Kafos, Emaya Parod Yichfetenu. And if it starts splitting, sometimes it starts wandering, the leaves start going, you have a nice geshmaka, fat lulav, it starts going. So bind it together. Make it nice and straight like an arrow. Who told you that what we use today is what the Torah is referring to? Ema charusa. So charusa is, we saw a picture, but here it is, on the palm tree. Maybe you have to bring one of these. Who told you it's the guy in the middle? The lulav is right here in the center, brand new leaf. This guy's already a year old, 2 years old, he's mature. Maybe this is what you have to bring. Who told you? Yeah, tradition that comes from a palm tree, but who told you what part of the palm tree? Says the Gemara, Bino Kofos Veleko. Because here's the picture. Great picture. Cannot do better than this. They did a great job. Here, you're trying, if you ever tried to put it, they're very, very tough. They want to stick out this way. And if you try to bind them together, here, you put some tape, it doesn't work. There's a big gap over here. Yeah? So Memela, it's not kafos. This is not called kafos. It doesn't look like an arrow. This is not what the Torah is referring to as kapois tomorrow. Again, we read it kapois as if it had a vav, but it doesn't have a vav. So because it doesn't have a vav, we also have other drushes going on here. We have the kri and the ksiv, and Memela, I'm also learning kafos. Bina kafos veleka ve'ema ufta. Here's ufta, great picture, a great palm tree. Ufta, he says, is this piece right over here, like one of these. It's nice and straight, you see? You're telling me it has to be straight. Here's a piece of wood. Stop, a piece of wood that grows out of the palm tree. After you cut it down, it's 20 years old already. It's nice and straight, kafos. Who told you? It's a brand new lulav that has leaves on it. Says the Gemara very pashut. Kafos b'chlal diga parut. This v'hai kafos v'oimed lo'ilam. This doesn't have the ability to spread apart. It's just a piece of wood. A lulav could go this way, could open up, and you could put it back together. And that's what you need. You need something that has the ability to be not kafus, open. All right? Ve'ema kufra, maybe some sort of shoot that comes out of the lulav tree and has like little thorns on it. You see this concept over and over in the Gemara, and it's a concept that I'm not exactly sure where to apply it today, but you can understand that Torah and mitzvahs is supposed to be pleasant. HaKadosh Baruch Hu never tells us to do something that's not pleasant. Stop. You should know Yisroel. Everything that we do is pleasant. A lot of times things, I look at certain things, I don't know what the situation. It's not pleasant what you're doing. What you're doing, it can't be that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants you to do something so crazy. He doesn't want you to walk on your head and then fast and this and that. He wants you to be, it has to be pleasant. Yeah, we have a tzayim, we have this. But b'derech klal, a guy that's all fashvitz and he's learning pleasant. It can't be, says the Gemara, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, take a lulav that has thorns on it. It just doesn't make sense. You're gonna wear gloves and you're gonna no. You're gonna get pricked by the thorn. That doesn't make sense. HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't work like that. Here, you gave me that sefer, right, with all the names. I looked in there. Mamash, a waste of time because I went through all of Bari. No, not your sefer. What I did, I went through all the ravas. Came up 52 ravas, I think, long time ago, before you gave me that sefer. Anyway, and it tells you exactly all the mesechtas where each one is. Here's one. This is a different rava. It's not the rava that we're familiar with. Rava toisfal ravina. Ve'ema tarti kapit tamre. Because it says kapois tmarim. Kapois tmarim means plural, two. And this, by the way, is called the kaf tmarim. Each one of these, again, $15,000 worth of dates. I don't know, whatever. 5,000. I don't remember the number. Remember, every time, I can't believe that one tree produces so many thousands of dollars. Whatever it is, 5 or 15. Okay, so this is called a kaf. So maybe you have to walk into shul with two of these. So it should be kapis tmarim. And this makes a lot of sense, actually, because this is tmarim. These are the dates. This is kapis tmarim. A lulav has nothing to do with dates. It's on the tree of the dates, but it's not the dates. Over here, Givaldik. Maybe you should walk into shul with two of these. Says the Gemara, kapas ksiv. But at the end of the day, there's no vav. So if there's no vav, then the reason why the Torah didn't put a vav in there and we read it plural is to tell us that it's also to take away from this problem. It has to be singular also. We read it plural, but it has to be singular. It has to be one. Okay, so it's one. So you tell me it's one. Is it one or two? I thought it's two. You're telling me it's one? Okay, so bring one whole bundle of dates. Lahu kaf karile. Yes, if you bring one, you might be yotzeit, but the problem is that one of these is called a kaf and not kapois. But one lulav could be called a kapois tomorrow. That's what the Gemara says. It cannot be this because one is a kaf, two is kapois, and the Torah says it should be one, but one that's called kapois, not one that's called kaf. So we had a type of lulav from the Hara Barzel, and it's called pictures. I got with pictures. Here are the two pictures. One is that the top of the leaf reaches the bottom of the other guy. Where do we have this also? I don't know if the Gemara talks about it over here. We have it by Hadasim also. Hadas, the bottom always has to touch the root of the one on top of it. So this would be kosher if this point reaches the bottom leaf on top. It's not just a great picture because it doesn't look like it over here. Maybe if you look closely. Okay. But if it's like this is very visible that it does not reach the bottom, then it's possible. Possible. So here we have a contradiction. On the one hand, it says if it comes from our barzel, it's possible. But it says in the Mishnah, Kshero, what do we do with the contradiction? So, okay, so Abaye is right. Abaye says a chidush that there's a difference between when the top of the leaf reaches the bottom of the other leaf and not. Shma mino. And now we're turning to Daf Amud Beis, Leiv, sponsored by the MD White Hillman Group. For all those who need shiduchim, refuahs, and yeshuas, please join tehillim.8minutedaf.com. As that Shal Shudas now, and the Rav said that when he became the Rav of the Shul, I don't remember the name of the Shul or the Rav. I hope he's not watching. On 9th Avenue. Yeah, the 9th. How did you know? Right. So at Linden Heights, the Rav, what's the name of the Rav? Goldschmidt, very good. Yeah. So he said at Givaldik Maisa, he said that he was given Psicha Ne'ilah. So the first year he was there. A guy came over to him and said, listen, I'm married for a bunch of years, I don't have children, and I heard Psicha Ne'ilah is a big zgula. Can I have it? He said, 100% have it. And of course, there's a big moifus. Within 9 months to the day, they had a ben zachar. No, he didn't say that. That's in my book, called 9 months in a day. But he had a kid 10 months later, he said. 10 months. And a guy, a chassid in the back with a strimel, got up, he said, the moifus from the roof, the moifus from the roof. Okay. And then he continued to say that there's another moifus. He gave it to another person that is 2 daughters, older daughters, very gelungana girls, were not married. He gave it to the guy. But he said, in both cases, he said, when you're up there by the psicha, talk to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. How you doing, Clifton Ayid? You came all the way from Clifton? No, I was in Clifton. Okay. You're going to have to dance first afterwards. So he tells him, you have to mamish talk to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You have to say what you want and speak like your friend. Okay. So the second guy also spoke. The 2 girls got engaged within months of each other. Mamish amoifis. Kids, then a guy screams, the roof, can I say a joke? He says, a joke. I don't know if I'm going to say over the joke. It was a great joke. The punchline was great, but I don't remember exactly how it went. Something about a meshulach from Eretz Yisrael came to ask for money. And Bekitzer, he said, I'll give you money on condition that you go to the koisel, you put a note in the wall that I should have children. Okay? So the guy goes back to Eretz Yisrael, and all of a sudden, the guy that gave the money, his wife became pregnant with triplets. So, triplets. 9 months later, twins. 9 months after that, 9 months and a day, another triplets. Kitzer, this Meshulach guy comes back to America and knocks on the door. And the wife opens the door and says, you're not going to believe it. Since it's such a moifus, you went all the way to the Kaiser for us, and look how many kids we have. We have already 8 kids. So the guy says, and where's your husband? He says, my husband's in the Kaisel, he's looking for the note. So when the guy finished his joke and everybody was laughing like you were laughing, I said, I want to say something serious. I said, I don't think it's a moifus, and I don't think it's a joke, but I think because it was the Rav's Psicha D'Ne'ilah, and the Rav did a Maisa Chesed, and he gives it over, B'leiv Shalom to his Kehila, that's why the guy was Zoicha. So he said, oh, good, fine. I still wanted to take off from the joke, because the guy, Shal Shudas Drasha, this guy's giving jokes. Okay, fine. Adkat, now we go weiter. Vikid the Rabbi Lo Mirma, and some say that Abaya came up with his pshat because of the contradiction. Until now, he said a pshat. Abaya just says a pshat. There's a difference if the leaf reaches the bottom or the leaf doesn't reach the bottom. If it doesn't reach the bottom, a lulav like this, that each leaf doesn't reach the bottom, is possible. And then we said, we have a contradiction in 2 brises that say Tzina Rabazil is kosher, Tzina Rabazil is possible. It fits right in to Abaya's great pshat. But some say no. What happened was there was a contradiction. They came up with a contradiction. And in order to answer the contradiction, Abaya comes up with this pshat. What do you do? On the one hand it says kosher, and on the other place it says puzzle. Then Abaya comes along and says, I have a pshat. If one leaf reaches the bottom of the other leaf, then it's kosher. And if it doesn't reach the bottom, then it's puzzle. Omar Rebbe Marion. Omar Rebbe Shimon Levi. The name of Zakai. Shtei Tmoros Yesh Begay Ben Hinoim. Sounds like Gehenim to me, no? There's two palm trees right there in Gay Ben Hinoim. And the smoke that comes out between the two of them. This lulav that we're talking about, right over there in that area of Tina Basil, that's the entrance. It's next to Yerushalayim. That's where the entrance of Gehenim is. Lulav sheish bo shloisha tfachim. So it says in the Mishnah that a lulav has to have 3 tfachim. Or Rabbi Shmuel shir das varova shloisha. Oh, halacha l'maisa. How long do your adasim have to be? So they sell these packages, Aleph, Aleph, Aleph. According to Chazon Ish, that's the only one I know. That's how I grew up on. Chazon Ish, 30 centimeters. And here it is, right in this. This is what he brings also. 30 centimeters. 30 centimeters comes out to about a foot. 12 inches. I believe. We'll see over here. I think there's a better picture with a ruler. I'm pretty sure it's a foot is a little bit more, like a centimeter more. It's basically, look for a foot and you'll be okay. If you get a foot, then it's for sure good. Don't get cheap on these. Get the foot. It says over here, how much? 3 tfachim for the adas, 3 tfachim for the arava. The lulav arba, and a lulav is 1 tefach more than the both adas and aravas. Why? So that a lulav is taller than a hadas tefach. Why does it say hadas and not a rava? Because somebody pointed out that the hadas should actually be slightly higher. It doesn't have to be longer, but like when you put in the kosher, it should be a tiny bit above the rava. It's more important than the rava. It should be above, and the lulav will be 1 tefach above that hadas. Very parnachom. I don't know why they need a picture of this, but we have it. Here's a 30 centimeter arava. And here's a 40 centimeter lulav. It's about 16 inches. If you want to remember 16 inches, like they do drywall. Every 16 inches there's a stud, there's a 2x4, 16 inches. I'm just a contractor, what am I going to tell you? Stuck. Now, lulav arba kadesh elul yom zenadas tefach. Here you go. 1 tefach above the top of hadas. He did a great job over here. If you notice that arav is slightly below the hadas, and he put it on the hadas side, 1 tefach on top. That's the shita of the Gemara. Now, Rabbi Parnach comes and says on Rabbi Elchanan, Shidroi shelulav tzarich sheyetzim in hadas tefach. Not the leaves, but the actual spine needs to be 1 tefach past the lulav. That's a lot more. Here's a good picture. I don't know what this is. No, not important. This one. The tefach does not include these leaves over here. The tefach has to be part of the actual spine. You follow the green spine, the center until it stops. When it stops, make sure that point right over here, let's say it stops over here, it's 1 tefach above the hadassim. That's a big chumrah. That means the lulav has to be a lot longer than the hadassim. Tanan, we learned in our Mishnah, lulav shesh boy gimel tfachim kidei lenanea boy kosher. It says that you only need 3 tfachim for a lulav. Where did you come up with 4? Says the Gemara, Ema ukidei. What the Mishnah meant to say, kidei lenanea boy kosher, not kidei ukidei. You just add a vav. That's the meaning. It doesn't mean that it was missing a vav, but everybody understands that you have to be able to shake it. And in order for the lulav to be shakeable, it needs to be taller than the hadassim and the aravas on top, above them. Says the Gemara, market this lay or market this lay. It doesn't matter how we learn it. Either you learn that it's 1 tefach above the hadassim with the leaves, or 1 tefach the spine. But either way, it needs to be above 1 tefach above the hadassim, the aravas, in order to shake. Toshma. Shir hadas v'arava shloisha v'lulav arba. Here it says in the Brisa that lulav is 1 tefach longer than the hadassim and the aravas, which are 3 tefachim. The lulav is 4. So perhaps you can bring a raya over here, bahadi alim, that's with the leaves against Reb Parnach. There's no raya to either shita is the tefach with the leaves, without the leaves. No raya. Gufa. Shir Hadas V'Arov Shloisha V'Lulav Arba. Again, Hadas and Arov is 3 Tvachim, 30 centimeters, according to Chazon Ish, and Lulav is 40 centimeters. So we have to understand. Reb Tarfon says we're talking about an amma of 5 Tvachim. Omar Rava, Shorele Mori Le Reb Tarfon. The Rebbeinu Shel Olam should forgive Reb Tarfon. In other words, Rava understood that you have to find 5 Tvachim, 50 centimeters. Hashto Avois Shloisha Lo Mishkachinon, they had the same problem in those days that we have today. You could barely find a kosher hadas that's 30 centimeters. Bas Chamishim B'Boya, you want to put on to us 50 centimeters? It's going to be impossible. Nobody's going to have hadas. And if they do, it's going to be $1,000 hadas. Kiyosar Rav Dimi Omar, he explained, Amo Bas Shisha Tfachim. A regular Amo is 6 Tvachim. Aseyoisa Bas Chamisha. He's saying like this. No, all he was saying, Reb Tarfon, is that you should use 3 Tvachim. Just, he said, use 3 Tvachim that are slightly larger than your typical Tefach. Pretend that instead of every Amma, an Amma is 6 feet, is 1 foot, is 2 feet, sorry. Amma is 2 feet, right? Amma is 24 inches. So, instead of dividing 24 inches into 6, divide into 5. How much is that? Nobody? It's Poropak over here. We all went to the same cheder for math. Great. You have iPhones. Use them. What? 4.8 inches. Each tefach is 4.8 inches times 3 is like 13 something. Okay. But if it is 6 tefachim, 4 each, so it'll be 12. Okay. So instead of 12 inches, right? Right, because we said an amma, very smart. An amma is 2 feet. 3 tefachim is a half amma. So it'll be 1 foot. So instead of 12 inches, Reb Tarfon says add a little bit. Make it 13 point whatever inches. So he's machmer a little bit. He's not saying use 5 tefachim. He's saying use the tefachim instead of 6 tefachim, because we know an amma could be amas habinyan or amas hakelim. It could either be an amma could either be 5 tefachim or 6 tefachim. So instead of using an amma of 6 tefachim, use an amma of 5 tefachim. So it makes each tefach larger. It's 1 1/5 of the other one. The kids are now you have 3 3/5 tefachim. Slightly larger. So you use 3 3/5 for the hadas. Vashar lelulav, meaning not the shar. Doesn't mean all the way to 5. It just means use a tefach and a 5th for the lulav. Give the lulav an extra tefach and a 5th above the hadasim. Kama havalu. How much is the hadas? Tlasa utlasa chumsha. 3 tefachim and 3/5 of a tefach. Because we're using larger tefachim, so you get 3/5 more. Says the Gemara. Kasha the shmuel ad the shmuel. We have a contradiction between shmuels. Why? On the one hand, he says that hadas is only 3 tefachim, exactly 3 tefachim. And then he says, and he says that Allah is like Reb Tarfon. Reb Tarfon just said it's 3 3/5. And over here he says it's 3 flat. 3 exactly 3 tefachim. So which one is it? 3 or 3 3/5? Contradiction. Says Gemara like Doc. He wasn't so, he rounded it off. Ask the Gemara, if you want to round it off and say you should bring a larger hadas, great. But he said that you can bring a shorter hadas. You can bring a hadas that's only 3 tefachim, but hadas has to be 3 3/5. How can you say he's not so careful? He rounded it off. You don't go rounding off lower, you go rounding off higher when it comes to the rices. He also Rava in Omar, Amabas Chamisha Tfachim, Aseyosa Shisha. No, we're dealing with an Amma that's supposed to be 5 Tfachim. Make it 6. Fakert. He's making it, he's a smaller shear. Seimem Shloish Ladas, Vashar Luluv, Kamahavu, Shreyu Palgo. So now I'm using, instead of 6 Tvachim, I'm making 5 Tvachim. Half of 5 is 2.5. So now all I need is an Adas that's 2.5. 2.5 Tvachim. So it's 2.5 Tvachim instead of 3. Ask the Gemara, but we have the same contradiction between Shmuel. So if Kasha is Shmuel, the what? On the one hand, Shmuel says that Adas has to be 3 Tvachim. And now he's passing like Reb Tarfon that Adas is 2.5 Tvachim. So which one is it? 2.5 or 3? Oh, on that he's going to say, Loidak. He rounded it off to 3. It was supposed to be 2.5. He rounded it off to 3. You're allowed to round off to make it more chumradik and bring a longer hadas. The official Mishnah, sponsored by official, and unfortunately I don't have the exact wording I'm supposed to say. It's Lilu Nishma somebody. Hadas Hagazel. So we learned about Lulav Hagazel. Now we're talking about Hadas Hagazel. Hadas Hagazel, stolen Hadasim. Vehayovesh. We have a Yovesh. Oh, we have the wording. For Shlema, Braino Bas Yente Dvaira. And we'll say also, Avram Yosef ben Chana. Please send to Eli, or show him, please. All right, Hadas HaYovesh. Here we go. The dry Hadasim. Exactly what it means. Look in the Svarim, what it means. Exactly doesn't mean that if you touch it, it falls apart, and not, it loses the color. Okay. I thought about it over Shabbos. I do buy extra Hadasim. I'm not that cheap on Hadasim. They are expensive, but I don't change them as often as the Rav. The Rav is almost every day. I think that's what I started doing. Almost every day. Because I got lazy to put that towel on and it makes the kosher look a little moldy. But the problem is it's not, I don't know. There has to be a better eitzah to keep it, put the whole thing in the refrigerator. I don't know exactly. Somebody has a good idea. What do you guys do, no? What do you do? Anybody? You put it in a vase? Really? But that's like, it's going to get moldy, no? What about Hadasim? The biggest problem is Hadasim. Hadasim lasts for 7 days? Out of the refrigerator? You sure it's not a little yavish by then? Not my Hadasim. You guys have good Hadasim from Eretz Yisrael. In Eretz Yisrael, they sell it from China or something. I don't know what.
Put a drop of water in the plastic, put it in the fridge, and then it
Right. So you take out the kosher glove, put it in the plastic, put a drop of water in there, moldy a little.
Put it in the kosher glove, put the whole kosher glove there.
But you take it out of the lulav. No water? No water is perfect. Because I forget. And then I come to shul and I look at the thing. It's like, because I don't have a see-through bag. You know, my bag is there. You get the oy. Terrible at that. You spend all that time and money on the Arba Minim, and by day 5 it looks like Mam's like this picture right over here. This is my Hadass on day 5. You walk the shul, you're embarrassed, you're not showing anybody. Okay. And nobody has the extra pair of Hadass. They all have a nice Aravis, but that's it. All right. So we know this is all from Lulav. Asherah. They did have a Zara. Remember the whole sugya. It's the Asherah of Moshe Rabbeinu that has to be burnt. And because it has to be burnt, it's missing the shear. What's the shear of the Hadas? 3 Tfachim. And if it has to be burnt, it doesn't have 3 Tfachim, even if it physically does. Also the same thing. If it's the whole city or the rove of the city, 51% that does have a Zara, everything gets burnt and everything is Ketusim Michtas. Here's the picture. The top got snipped off. Nifritzu Olav. Here's Nifritzu Olav. Basically, the leaves fell off. Great picture. The Adasim have, this is basically psamim, I believe, no? These little berries. So if there are more berries than leaves, it's not hadar. It doesn't look beautiful anymore. It looks kind of not nice, and it's no good. But there's the eitzah. What's the eitzah? Take off the berries. But you can't do it on Yontif. If you did it before Yontif, great. Maybe Matim Yontif. Why can't you do it on Yontif? Because of Misakim Mana, you're fixing a Kli on Yontif. So once again, the whole thing all over again. How do I know that this is a lulav? We went through the whole thing. Maybe it means dates. Maybe it means this part of the tree. Maybe it means that part of the tree. Great. So we don't want lulav. Now we're talking about hadas. How do you know that this is hadas? Who told you? Here we go. Beautiful. Great picture. This is what hadas has to look like. The leaves cover the entire branch. Very hard to find something like that. You think of a tree that all the leaves, you don't see a branch. All you see is leaves. That's a hadas. Vezahu, again, they speak out that we know what hadas is. We have it from tradition. We weren't born yesterday. Where since Matan Torah, we're using the same exact hadas. Never changed. Never in history do we not have hadas. We know what it is. We want to prove that that's what the Torah means. Vezahu, maybe it's an olive tree. Okay, I don't know. Seems kind of shvach, especially from the picture, but it has a lot of leaves. It's not as beautiful as this. You see a lot of the branch, but nevertheless, maybe it's an olive tree. The kids are, how do we know for sure that it's the hadas? Being an avos, v'leka. Okay, it has to be literally, it has to be sharsherish, Rashi said, like completely covered. It's not. Ve'ema duba. Now, this is problematic. We don't know exactly what it means, and they discuss it, Rashi, the whole thing. Maybe it's a chestnut. And why the Gemara thought this? That's why some say not. Where did I see? Taisus, yeah, he's not so happy. It's not kestanir. Okay, fine. It's not this. He says it's not a chestnut. What is it? I don't know. But maybe it's another type of tree. Rashi says the common pshat is that it's a chestnut. Being on enough of vileka. Okay, same teretz. If you look closely, it doesn't even come close to hadas. Veima hirduf. Maybe it's this. So this actually, look at this right over here. This looks like hadasim over here. Look at these, a lot of leaves. You don't see the branch at all. So over here the Gemara says a different pshat. Amar Abaya drochel darchei noyam v'lekya. This is poison. Torah doesn't deal with poison. Not telling you to bring hadasim that are poison. Drochel darchei noyam. HaKadosh Baruch Hu's, the Torah is a pleasant Torah. There's no poison. We don't deal with poisons. Rav Amamacha ha'emes v'hashalom ehavu. Okay. Peace, harmony. That's what the Torah is all about. Not something that could cause destruction and death like poison. Torah Rabban. Kalua kimin kliya v'doimil shalshelas zohadas. It's like braided, like a shalshelas, almost like a chain. That's hadas. Rebbe Lezer ben Yaakov Omer anaf eitz avos. 8 shetam eitzoy upiryoy shava. So that was that email that I should go back and look at, but I don't have it here. It's on my phone somewhere. Havi oim is hadas. That the tree and the berry taste the same. So where do we have that? Where else do we have that? Esrig, we have it by pilpel. We had it the certain pepper that tastes the same. There might have been a fourth thing. I don't remember anymore. Pepper, esrig, and the das. I don't know. Maybe a fourth one. So it has to be tam eitzoy piri shava avomis hadas. Bekitzer, these are the rice that this is what the Torah is talking about. Tana eitzov is kosher v'sheni ovo is pasul. If it's not braided like heavy laid on, it's pasul. So that's what we look for. Not really. According to this, it'll be very hard to understand. He's saying, according to this pshat, that Rashi says that he means 3 come out of one root. See, there's 3 leaves. This is not what our hadas looks like. And if our hadas would have to look like this, it would be impossible to find the dasim. Rav Kahana Omar afidu trei v'chad. 2 and then 1 underneath. You don't need all 3 to be coming out of one source. Rav Acha says, since Rav Kahana paskin that 2 and 1 is okay, so I want to show that that's the halacha. Let me go find it. So Mar, the son of Amemar, tells Rav Ashi, Abba, my father who's Amemar, lawadas shoyta korelei. That's hadas shoyta. In other words, it's not balanced. What's a shoyta? Shoyta is a person that doesn't have balance in his life. If you have 1 leaf fear, 2 leaf seer, that's unbalanced. That's not a good, don't look for that. That's not a good hadas. Should be makbid on it. So, Tosfos points out, when we're talking about this, so he says no. And that's how basically I believe this is how we paskin. We're looking for, if you look over here, this is a great picture. You see how the leaves, this is hard to find, and this is what people are makbid when they're looking at Hadassim. They're makbid that all 3 of the stems should come out at the same level. That is, if you put a string around the hadas, it would touch each one of these. This might not be the greatest picture. This looks slightly higher, and maybe people will be makbid on it. But that's what you're looking for. That's what they give a hechsher on. When the stem, all 3 stems are on the same exact level. And you'll look at hadasim, you'll see it's not so easy to find. They come 3, but if you look closely, one is slightly higher than the other a lot of times. And that's the Aleph Aleph, not the Aleph Aleph Aleph. Not kidding. That's how it goes. If you look, that's what they'll sell you. And then even if they sell you where they're on the same playing field, but you don't get 30 centimeters of it. You get 20. And then on the bottom, they start playing games. You have to be makbid on that also. All throughout the 30 centimeters. Here's 2 and 1. 2. Here's 1 guy below. This is Rav Kahana. 2 and 1. Zok the Gemara, 1 was done. Do we have time? We're the diving shachas already in Eretz Yisrael? What time is it? Oh no, it's way before shachas for them. It's Matzah Shabbos. Let's just do a few lines here. Nasru roiv olav and ishtar by miut kosher. Most of it started out good. Low battery, but is it still recording? Come on, tell me if it's recording. Here, push the low battery. Push the thing. Just close the thing, yeah. And then it's going to go back. Okay, shkoyach. Most of the leaves of the hadas, like that's my hadas, not your guys' beautiful hadas on day 5, 6. My hadas, and they start falling off. It's a disaster. So what does that mean? You said that most of the leaves fell off. It's kosher. How are you going to have braided hadassim, 3 all around, all the way up the thing, when most of the leaves fell off? It's a contradiction. It doesn't work. Given the natural tray, if most of them fell off, meaning 2 out of 3 fell off, so you don't have 3. There's a guy in Eretz Yisrael that collected money from me for, I like to say for a lot. What is it called? Something, it's a sikum. It's to do a synopsis on the daf. So I don't think he has it on the last Masechus. He had it back when I was doing Bav Basra. So I called him up and I told him that I love his sefer, the whole thing. All of a sudden he shows up at my door. So I'm here to give you a sefer, but I'm also collecting money for, I have a koila and this. Okay, fine, I gave money. But it was a great investment. Why? Because on Erev Sukkot, he comes to my house with Hadasim Mitzrayim. I don't know if you've ever seen it before. I've never seen it before in my life. They have crazy amount of leaves. Instead of 3, it's like 7 around. It looks exactly like Hadas, but it's insane. It's like, Mamish, like, to me it looked like Keli Van He told me these are the best and it's very hard to get. He gave it to me a few years in a row, Baruch Hashem. And this is what we're talking about. Mamish this. The There's 7 leaves, top of Lamed Gimel Alaf, 7 leaves on each stage, whatever you want to call it, step. But most of them fell off, right? So 4 out of 7 fell off. Now we're left with 3. Pashul Glass, and now you have the perfect hadas, which is 3. That's why Noshru Roivalav. So it's only one case. Noshru Roivalav. If most of the leaves fell off, don't get excited. Oh, it says Shteit in Gemurah that the Noshru Roivalav, it's good. So maybe I'm allowed to walk around and shul like this. No, this is possible because it doesn't have 3 on each thing. The only time it's cautious is if you start out with 7, 4 fall off, you're left with 3. So you have avos, you have this. Those adasim, crazy adasim. Look it up. They still sell them. I don't know if they sell them. They still have them. 7. So even if things fall off, it's beautiful. You're still left with 3. No, but the problem is it good? Fine, we'll stop over here. At the end of the day, so the Gemara just says it is kosher, and we'll talk about that tomorrow. Have a wonderful week, everybody. Shkoyach for coming out.